So welcome to Andre's book club, and we're gonna discuss today about the idea behind this book club and the idea behind the books I am doing, and I'm gonna share with you right now the background of this book. And how did this idea come into my mind? Because there are so many people that visited Israel, right? And they have been on tour for almost 10 days. And many of you were in that tour. And then they go back and they forget all this information. Because honestly, after 2 hours, you're hearing from your tour guide, and after 2 hours, the information will come from here and go from there. Because according to science, no one can focus more than 2 hours continuously. But when Tony is teaching or me, I'm teaching, it's 10 hours teachings. So it's too much.
And it's 7 minutes, not 2 hours.
7 minutes.
Yeah, kids cannot focus more than 7 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, like your attention span can't be so long more than you will lose attention after 2 hours of hearing and or writing or taking notes. So there's so much information that people by the end of the trip, they realize we just learned so much, but we don't remember anything. They remember specific things and sites and general things, of course, that the Lord told them and touch their hearts. But there's so much information there they love to have. So the idea throughout the years came to my mind to do my signature tour into a book and all this information. And my signature tour is different than other tours and other travel companies. It's my niche tour, even different than Tony's tour. Okay. And another reason why I decided to write this book is that not only for people who have been on tour, people who want
So
to.
sorry, Andre, how is your tour different?
I will explain next. I'll explain. Keep this point on a side. Okay, I answer it right now. My tour is different because I go chronological from birth to resurrection. And by the way, don't give this idea to anyone, please. No one is doing it in Israel right now. Give me a thumb up. You promise me. Don't give this idea to anyone. Great. Because no one, I am not aware of any tour guide or any agency in Israel that do chronological tour from Jesus' birth all the way chronological. We go 2 nights in Bethlehem. All right. And this is why you saw here in my videos that I start the arrival day from the airport. We drive all the way to Bethlehem. We check in the hotel 2 nights. And first thing, site, we go to Herodion. Why Herodion? Because this is about Herod the Great. So we will learn about Herod killing all these kids and how he could see Bethlehem from there. And from Herodion, we can see Jerusalem, and I will build the story for people. And this is what I've done online and in the book. And then we go to the shepherd fields. All right. And then this should be opposite to this, but it's fine. The shepherd fields. And from the shepherd fields, we go with the biblical story, the angels appearing to the shepherds. And then we walk to Bethlehem. We drive to Bethlehem. So it's built in a chronological way. And after the first 2 days staying in Bethlehem, we go all the way up to Nazareth for another 2 nights. And in Nazareth, 2 nights, we speak about Jesus as a child, his childhood. And then after that, we go to Galilee 3 nights, speak about Jesus' healing ministry and as a rabbi. And then we will end in Jerusalem, another 2 or 3 nights, in speaking about his last week in Jerusalem. And actually, what is different, we walk. How Jesus walked last week. People are tired. They're going to be exhausted. I saw people so much complaining, but I tell them this is where Jesus walked. I want to make it real for you. I know it's longer distances, but we walked like the last week of Jesus' walk. I don't know if you know, from Gethsemane to where he denied Jesus, Peter, all the way to Golgotha, all the way back to Gabbatha. And this will be 9 nights, 10 days, chronological, from birth to resurrection. I know it's different than other tours, Tony, because we move different hotels. Like this is only not for, like this is a more high demanding tour than any other tours. You walk from 5 to 10 miles each day. It's more physical need, like they're more like more strenuous because a lot of walking and offbeat places too. It's not a typical tour, and we move hotels each 2 days. Usually in a typical tour, Tony, 10 days, they move only 2 hotels, maximum 3, Galilee and Jerusalem, 4 nights, 5 nights, 4 nights, 3 nights. But this way, in my signature tour that I do once a year, people come join from all over the world. But now because of war, I'm not doing it. And it's way different because some people minds are chronological, are Greek mind, but I do it chronological and explain Eastern Jesus. So I decided not only to do this tour physically, and not only videos, also a book. And I came with 700 pages. I wrote this book. It took me like 6-7 years to write this book. Every morning, wake up 5 o'clock in the morning till now, every day. Wake up early, work for 2 hours every morning. And me and Tony are busy people, but we are dedicated to pass the knowledge. And finally, I finished the 700 pages. So I was thinking first to make it one book. And then I was praying and I got this idea to make it 3 books. So let me ask in the chat, is it better to divide it into 3 volumes or only 1 volume, 700 pages? Would you read a 700 pages book, or would you prefer 3 volumes, volume 1, volume 2, and volume 3? What do you think? Let me see in the chat. You can also unmute yourself if you like to respond. Let me see in the chat. 3 volumes, please. Okay, 3 volumes. That one book with 700 pages. All right, you are something. You are something. I like all these answers. It doesn't matter to me. Both are workable. Okay. So one of the reasons why I like your answers, all of them, there's no right or wrong. All are correct. But the reason I've done it 3 volumes, because for me, it's a lot of editing and a lot of work. And my mind functions also project by project. So in order to finish this book and not take much time, because you know editing takes so much time, you have no idea how much back and forth work to produce one book. My first book I wrote, it took me like 5 years to finish it. But anyway, it takes a lot of work. So 700 pages, one book will take so much work. So this is one of the reasons I divided it for 3 books. And I will finish book 1 book by book. Let me give you an idea about these 3 books, okay? The 3 volumes. So volume number 1 will be the first 4 days. It will speak about the early life. This covers his birth, his childhood, to the beginning of his ministry. So this is volume 1. It will be arrival to Israel, the birth of Christ, and then the Jordan River and the ministry of John the Baptist, and the word become flesh, dwelt among us. So 2 nights in Bethlehem, and then we go up to Nazareth and spend 1 night. This is volume 1. Why? It speaks about his birth all the way to his childhood. And then volume 2 is 3 days, days 5, 6, and 7. And this is centered about Jesus' life, where he preached and performed miracles and gathered followers. Around 3 years of his teachings. And this is when he was as a rabbi. So this is the second portion of the book, volume 2, and focuses on Galilee, the 3 nights staying in Galilee. And the last volume will be volume 3, it's only about Jerusalem, crucifixion, resurrection, and that includes about Yeshua's crucifixion, death, and his resurrection. And that are the 3 last nights and the last week, the 3 nights in Jerusalem and the last week of Jesus' life. So this is how the 3 volumes are divided. And just to tell you where I am right now is I finished, as I said, the 700 pages. I've sent the editor volume number 1, and I am with him back and forth in editing the first volume. We finalized the first cover page of volume 1, which I'm gonna share with you. And today you're the only people. I will read for you some of these books and some of why I did choose to write this book. And I want to take your advice because I've done this book in a different way. I used Aramaic words. I want my reader to know more Aramaic. So I used literalization, like I used an Aramaic word, and I want the reader to think, what does it mean? And then I explain the meaning of it. And I will show you this in this first volume. And I tell me what do you think about this? You can unmute yourself too, or in chat as you like. So this is the cover page of volume 1. The idea was to take how Bethlehem looked in Jesus' time, in the first century in a way. The houses, the streets, the roads, old houses. And also volume 2, I put Galilee, how it looked in the first century, and then Jerusalem, how it looked in the first century. That's the cover design, the idea of it. And I wrote the title, A 10-Day Journey in Israel, and the subtitle, Early Life of Yeshua Mashiach. Now, I want your answer. When you read Early Life of Yeshua Mashiach, what comes to your mind? I didn't use Jesus Christ. I want the reader to think, what is Yeshua Mashiach? Do you know any American will have an idea what is this, or it will be gibberish for him? What do you think? What do you think of that idea? For you,
I think it's a great idea. Go ahead.
Great. Why? Why do you think it's a great idea?
Because it gets readers out of the mindset of thinking about the Bible in a Western perspective. And since I've met you and Tony, this is what I'm doing. I'm trying to teach you from the Eastern perspective to take you there if you haven't been there. So I think it's great.
Great. That's a great answer, brilliant answer, because you got our heart, you got our vision. And this is the heart of the book and the heart of any pilgrims that come to Israel and the Holy Land or Palestine or West Bank, because we love to teach them everything about the culture, to see the Aramaic roots of Jesus Christ. Okay? So the name is a little bit gonna let the reader think, what is Yeshua Mashiach? So I can't think because I know the name. This is why I'm making a book club to discuss my book. And it might be once a month, once every 2 months, and to read for you some chapters. Anyone else, what do you think about the name? Does it allow you to be curious to know what is this book and go flip in the back side of the cover? What do you think? Anyone else?
I have several friends that are very into the doing Hebrew kind of schools, messianic things. So I think this would be very interesting for them. A new believer might not understand, but it would be a great opportunity to have a good base of knowing Jesus from an Eastern perspective and all.
Wonderful.
I don't know. I'm looking forward to it from just a little bit you've said so far.
Yeah, I'll be reading today some of it. So do you think, guys, I should put early life of Yeshua Mashiach and then put Jesus Christ down? Or keep it vague like this? What do you think? I don't know if people know, they know Yeshua, but Mshiach is Aramaic. Yeshua Mashiach is Hebrew. What do you think, guys? Tony.
Yeshua, when they read the first Yeshua,
Yeah.
they're gonna click Mshiach, which means Messiah. They're gonna click it somehow. That's open curiosity, but Yeshua, they would know it for sure.
Because
And
you
this
know the
one-
languages, Tony. That's good. You
Yeah,
know
I
the
know, but
language.
Yeshua, everybody knows Yeshua.
So let me ask here, people, do you think when you read Yeshua Mashiach, you know it's Jesus Christ? Or you link to it or make you, what do you think? Let me see people adding on chat. No, keep it. Looks like back cover says Jesus. Correct, Susan. Excellent.
Mhm.
Excellent.
Yeah, I see it like the burning bush moment. It should strike a curiosity to go find out what this means. That's how I see it.
Excellent. 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 Wow, amazing. Really good. Okay, so let me read for you in the back cover and let me increase the screen for you to see better. Okay. In the first book of the series, readers will embark on a captivating journey through Jesus's formative years, from his humble birth in Bethlehem to his upbringing in Nazareth, through vivid storytelling and historical context. This book immerses readers in the cultural backdrop of Jesus' early life, shedding light on his family and the events that helped to shape his extraordinary character. Uncover the mysteries, embrace the revelations, discover Jesus in a way you've never imagined. The Bible stories you know so well will take on deeper meaning as you gain surprising new insights into the Aramaic words of Jesus. This book's unique 10-day tour approach lets you immerse yourself in the captivating culture, custom, and contextual nonsense of the Holy Scripture, viewed through the lens of the Aramaic Middle Eastern perspective. Gain insight into how Jesus as a young child lived and imparted his teaching with the rich tapestry of first century culture. Develop a deeper connection with the essence of Jesus as you explore the interchiasis. How you pronounce this? This is my editor. How we pronounce this English word?
Intricacy.
Intricacies.
Intricacies, right. Sorry, it's not my mother tongue, but I try my best. Of his thought and belief. So what do you think, guys, about this background, this insights?
It's an open door and it's very inviting.
Excellent. Good. Does it make you want to read the book in a way?
Yes.
Because I'm not aware of any Aramaic book in the world speaking about Jesus' culture and mindset.
Mhm.
Okay. And then I put my picture, my happy picture, and I put Andre Mubarak, co-founder of Twin Tours and Travel in Israel, co-founder with Tony, is a licensed tour guide, ordained minister, author, and podcaster born into a Maronite Aramaic-speaking Christian community in Jerusalem. Andre leads groups through the Holy Land annually, offering insights into the Aramaic roots of Jesus at the Twin Tours Academy. His worldwide seminars aim to help people see the Bible through the unique perspective of Jesus's Middle Eastern heritage. Do you like this one, or do you think, what do you think about this? I know I'm asking a lot, but what do you think too?
Again, it's great. And it's funny because I was just talking to my brother before I got on about the importance of learning how to read the Bible in Aramaic. And he said, well, why aren't there more translations to show, like, for example, the Lord's Prayer, what it actually means? I said, well, I'm going somewhere right now in about 5 minutes to learn more so I can tell you.
Great. So in general, this is the first volume of the cover page. Do you like the design, how things are? Do you have any suggestions, any comments, any advice, or is it approachable to you? Is it like if you find it in a library, you will pick up this book in a way?
I find the picture interesting. There's some mystery in that picture, like you want to walk down past the building and see what's on the backside.
Yeah, here inside. This is the old town. Yeah.
Yep.
I like that way of thinking. Yeah. It's first to let people think, what is Yeshua Mashiach related to the picture, and when they read in the back cover, it will be explained. So it's when someone sees the book, they get, what is that? It's attract. Then he reads in the back, you see, and then it makes more sense to him. Great. So I have like 15 minutes. Let me read for you from the book, and you will be the first people ever to read something from my book. And it's in the editing stage, it's not final. But let me show you how I used Aramaic words for the reader and tell you what do you think about it. Tell me. Well, why did I decide to write this book? This is only the introduction. I'm a Maronite Aramaean Christian with an Israeli passport, growing up in old streets of the old city, Christian quarter of Jerusalem. Now, Jerusalem in Aramaic means Or Shlem. So I want the reader, when he reads the Christian quarter of Jerusalem, get connected with words of Jesus in Aramaic and learn it in an indirect word. But I hope it won't be distracting to the content. So when you read the Christian quarter of Jerusalem, Or Shlem in Aramaic, allowed me and my community the privilege of speaking and understanding several Semitic languages. Now, first I put in Aramaic to explain, but then I don't put in Aramaic. I put Jerusalem and then Or Shlem. So what do you think, guys? Can someone read it? Is it distracting or is it fine? Or what do you think? Using English with Aramaic, transliteration.
I like it. It's clear. It explains that in Aramaic, and then that gives you a hint as to what's going on with the remainder of the parenthesed statement. So it's clear, and I like it.
Great. Thank you for sharing.
I agree. I like it.
Great. Let me continue. I speak several Semitic languages like Arabic, Hebrew, and Aramaic that we use in our Maronite home church. This diversity helped me to understand Jesus Christ. And so I put in brackets, Yeshua Imshihu in Aramaic, through the Near Eastern eyes. Of course, earlier, there's a paragraph explaining what I'm doing in the Aramaic words. So when the reader come to read this, I have a paragraph saying, I use the Aramaic literation, or I don't know what you call transliteration, for you to know the Aramaic words of Jesus used. Anyway, and understand the custom, culture, context of the Bible from the eyes of those who spend time with Yeshua. So here Yeshua is known. I did not translate it. Now look at the next sentence. Also in Aramaic, Jesus' childhood name is Esho. Now, not many people know that. Only Aramaic speaking know that from our culture that go all the way back to the 1st century. This is like what his parents will call him in his house growing up. It is like David in English. You call him Dave, right? You have a nickname for your kids sometimes, right? Or a nickname for someone, Timothy, you call him Tim, right? So, or I don't know what is this in English, when you raise a child and you spoil him, he have a nickname, right? You call it a nickname? Like Tony his daughter is Karine, he called her Kuka. So do you have something like this in English? Right, you have, right?
Yeah.
So I'm stretching the mindset of the readers that we know from our neighbors and our families that Yeshua is his name, but his parents will call him Esho as the Aramaic nickname. Like David, we call him Dave. So his formal name in Aramaic is Yeshua, and his nickname between his family and his friends is Esho. Now you'll be surprised of this information. That will stretch your mind. But this is from my culture. I'm telling you from what we learn. So then I say I have been a tour guide these years, but anyway, blah, blah, blah. I write a lot about why did I write this book. And for example, I use the word Paul in Aramaic is Boulos. Boulos is Paul, all right? And for example, the Holy Land in Aramaic is Ar'ok Dosho. I don't know if you will read, how you will read this. Can anyone American read for me this last sentence from here, I pray? Can any volunteer read it for me?
I pray you get to meet with the Aramaic speaking community. When you visit the Holy Land, or in Aramaic, we say Arok Kadisho.
Very good. Ar'ok Dosho. Ar'ok Dosho. Kadisho is Hebrew. Ar'ok Dosho is Aramaic. There is no Ain in English. I couldn't find any Ain letter, so it's apostrophes like Ain. So I say Ar'ok Dosho. So this is a way that people can know what is the Holy Land in the Aramaic. So I speak a little bit about the Aramean Christians, about our existence, about our culture. We are people who live, breathe, think, and act, participate in Middle Eastern culture. We are rooted in the traditional ways of the Middle East. Our voices, past and present, need to be heard in biblical studies.
Andre, would you go up to the first sentence, the top
Yeah.
of the page? Keep going up. Keep going up. Keep going. Up, up. Up, 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 up. I am a Maronite Aramean Christian. In the paragraphs that you were just talking about at the end, it may be good to explain what a Maronite Aramean Christian is for Easterners. A quick short sentence. I mean, it's very clear. This is what I am. I grew up here. I lived there. But what is a Maronite Aramean Christian? For those of us who have gone on a tour, you've explained it. But if somebody's reading this book and they didn't know, a quick little sentence where we left off below. I've been a tour guide, someplace down in there. Where you would explain what a Maronite Aramean Christian is and how that gives you a Western perspective versus an Eastern perspective.
Got you. This is very important.
And then is Holy Land one word or two words?
Now, it can come in both.
Okay.
Linguistic wise, it's both. Can be separate and can be one word. Holy Land. Very good point.
Yeah, because down in the right there, you've got it as one word.
Yeah. Tony, in your book, because you focus on it, how was it? One word or two words in your book? Because I asked about it, they said it can be both ways. It's weird. English language is weird.
It doesn't matter, but what matters to be the same in all the book.
Correct.
If you make it
right.
2 parts or 1 part. So make it 2 parts, because in my book it was 1 part.
I like it. I like you, Tony. I still like you, Tony. So
then we'll notice the difference between the two authors.
Right. Actually, I like so much all your interpretations. All your inputs were so helpful and encouraging. So I like this. So let me read for you another thing about Aramaic. So let me read about what I wrote. This is only the introduction today. So, and what's something I done special? I'm telling the reader. I did not use the Bible verses of any English translation. I used in this book the Bible verses from the Peshitta original Aramaic language, and I translated it to English. So you get from the 1st century, 2nd century source of the Peshitta, all the verses I put here. So I said in my teachings in these 3 books, I use the scripture from the original Aramaic Bible called the Peshitta. The Peshitta is derived from Syriac, literally meaning simple virgin, from Pashut, simplicity, common. However, it is also possible to translate as common. That is for all the people, or straight Peshitta. I don't know if you're aware of the Peshitta Bible. It's the simple language. All usual translation as simple, direct. Another meaning of it is direct translation. So the term Peshitta means straight, simple, sincere, and true. Let me add direct. You see, I'm writing at the same time. Direct. Sincere and true. That is the meaning of the Peshitta. This name was given to the ancient authoritative text. Simplicity is the key to approaching scripture. By the way, today we make theology complicated, but it's very simple. So let me explain more about what I wrote in Aramaic. Aramaic can only be spoken and understood through the heart. You know, the Greek is through the mind. It's a very masculine language. Aramaic is a very poetic feminine language, and Hebrew. Aramaic can only be spoken and understood through the heart. An intellectual person without heart contact will not grab hold or understand the language's depth. You know, one of my struggles when I go and preach and teach here in the West is to take the people from the intellectual only to the heart. Most people are intellectual, Greek-oriented, and they're losing their emotion, relational part of Scripture. So that's what the Aramaic do for you, because it's inspired word of God, and the inspired word of God from the Father is a communicative language. It's a relational language. It's the heart language. And then I give the example. The heart sings its song, the tones, the rhythm, and being yourself who you are and what you are meant to be are the creation's expressions of unconditional love in Aramaic. For example, love in Aramaic is hobo. You see, when I say hobo, it's not like a rigid English word. You know that there is emotional text. The text have emotions. The West do not know about that. Even the way you pronounce it, even the Lord's Prayer have a rhythm, all right, have a tone. When I say hobo, so even pronouncing the Aramaic letters, I couldn't use Aramaic letters here because I will lose my readers. So I decided to use only English, but meaning Aramaic, hobo, which means, look, the love. And hobo literally means in Aramaic, come from the root Rahmani. And Rahmani literally means in English a womb. Raham, the root. Every Aramaic word have roots. Resh, Het, Mim, Raham. And Raham means womb. The love of the father to us is like the love of the mother from her womb to her child. And not many people are able to hear this song of the heart, like a musical vocalization of spoken words. When we consider the difference between Hobo and Rahmani, we are not talking about degrees of love, but the relation. You know, it's layers. Hobo, first layer. Another layer is Rahmani. We can go to 7 layers involved in these words. Rahmani is the love that is pure without having been offended. This is a perfect love, for that has no measure, no levels. It is an equal love that is shared and can only be accomplished with Yahweh. You know, Yahweh is the name of God. These meanings of the words from Aramaic reflects the rich culture and religious significance of Aramaic-speaking communities, where it is fundamental virtue and a core component of the ethical and moral principles. A culture affects a language. In Israel, we have a warm culture with a lot of emotional expression, especially in Jerusalem, and especially in West Bank, and especially in villages. I don't know, when you come to Israel, you see people from villages are more welcoming and more hospitable and open their homes. We are a warm culture, warm heart, blood culture. It's emotional expressions. That's what Jesus lived in. So I'm trying to bring the emotional text to the reader. verbs and meaning of words. I guess in the West, it is about freedom. You have great expression about it. I give an example. The word freedom is frequently used in American discourse to convey a sense of autonomy, self-determination, and the foundational principle on which the nation was built. The bottom line is that linguistics is affected by culture. The idea of freedom is deeply embedded in American identity, and it is reflected in documents like the Declaration of Independence, which states that all people are endowed with certain rights, including life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If I want to say the above sentence in Aramaic mindset, it will read like this: life, liberty, and the pursuit of holiness. Not happiness, holiness. So this is like, then I give a differences between Greek and Western mindset. I give many differences. And then I put some examples from the Bible. So that's only the introduction. And I just wanted to share with you about what I was trying to do in this book. And my mind hurts when I write. So after 2 hours, my mind starts hurting. But anyway, so this is only a taste of what to expect in this book. So any comments about what I just read? Any thoughts? What do you think?
Andrea, the introduction is great, but you make us curious to see some of the content of the book.
This is why I have another, Tony, I will have more book club. That's why I have another. What do you want from me, Tony? Tell me.
Show us the content, the style of
Content?
writing.
Okay, I will show
I
you.
mean, we're betting from the first minute.
For example, Abraham, his name is not Abraham. His name in Aramaic is Abraham. Abraham in Aramaic. And there's the meaning of it. Anyway, so this is all the introduction.
How you start like day one? How do you explain it? How show
Okay,
us?
acknowledgements, all my notes. It's so long. Day one. So I start day one with landing in Ben Gurion Airport. So you come to the airport. I explain everything from the moment you leave the plane. So I made it like a tour, by the way, in the book, as if you are touring the land, okay? You come to the Ben Gurion Airport, you go to the luggage claim, you get your passport, automated passport. There's now automated passport control kiosk, by the way. You don't have to, like before, wait online. Anyway, and they'll give you a paper like this. After leaving the passport control, Twin Stores representative holding a sign with your group name on it.
Andrea, can you go to let's say to the Shepherd Fields? Go to the Shepherd Fields.
Okay, arrival hall.
And if you show us a video, will be good as well to know what you're doing.
Okay, and he will come to your home. Like this is what we say to you when we first meet you. Welcome home, far away from home. Anyway, so all the details inside the bus, what we give, what booklets we pass, study, and all.
That's good. That's great. Show us the first day.
Yeah, I'm going there, Tony. I'm going there. I'm listening to you, brother. I always listen to you. You're 5 minutes older than me. I have to listen. You're firstborn. It's biblical. Anyway, then I explain on the road what we do until we go all the way to Bethlehem. We see the separation wall. I added a lot of pictures, by the way. As I explain on the road, what do you see from the airport all the way to Bethlehem? And then we go to check in. This is the separation wall. Explain about the separation wall, why it took place. And I'll give you both perspectives. I'm not with I'm not only with one perspective. It's always listen to both sides of the story. You see, there's so many people in the bus. When I say about this, the pass quick, and they never see this. This is the peace dove. I don't know if you heard about Bansky. and he wrote, I explained all about him, and he made this nice image on the wall, and he made the peaceful dove with Noah, the ark, and then you see the shield she have, and then pointed to her heart a bullet. This is very deep what's happening in West Bank. So anyway, God protects the Christians. Christians are a symbol of peace. Whenever they shoot at us, we will not die. We've been persecuted Arameans since history, but still God have us using us. Anyway, there's a lot. Anyway, and arriving to the hotel, check in, rest, sleep. People will be excited, will not be able to sleep. And the first day, you'll have breakfast, open buffet. I explained everything. I explained about the food, the Mediterranean Oriental breakfast, the best food diet. I'm getting to your point, Tony. So then we drive to Herodion. Our first stop is Herodion National Park, okay? And then I explain about Herodion, the history behind it. How did Herod come to rule? How did he build this site? His father, how many Herods were in the Bible? Agrippas, what did he build? Look how many sites he built 8 fortresses. And why did he choose Herodion, his favorite fortress? Why that site? And the pictures, and speak about the zealots. And then I speak about Herod's death. And then I explain how when Jesus said, your faith can move mountains, he was pointing to Herodion, and you see how this mountain is moved from one place to another. There are things that when we explain in the bus, people cannot capture, but this is, I took a picture from the bus showing how it moved. See, it's cut here in the way, half cut. He moved it to another place and give you applications. Why did Jesus say your faith can move mountains? He was speaking about this mountain. And then I explain about standing in front of the model, explain about it, the model, how it's all the history. We visit the tomb of Herod that was discovered recently, all these steps, speak about it. This is the reconstruction of the Herod sarcophagus, the tomb, and about the finding of it. And this is a replica here. This is the basement. This is a replica. It was huge. And then I come through the tunnels and get you out. So I do a tour exactly how we're doing it. Then explain a lot of things, but I want to get you a point. This is the theater they discovered. And then this is the center area. And then I speak about the bathhouse. I know I'm running quickly, but I will take you, and this is what I do, the application. I compare Jesus with Herod. I make 10 differences between the King Jesus and the King Herod and the different kingdoms they had. And what I do that in front on the top of the fortress that you can see Bethlehem and you can see Jerusalem. So this will make the Bible alive, and 11 lessons we learn from that contrast between Jesus was a humble king, for example. Herod was not a humble king. And let me read for you only one difference, okay? Herod the Great thought highly of his abilities and power and spared no effort to impress the world with his greatness. He was a schemer who feared the loss of his power and ruthlessly destroyed all potential rivals with incredible cruelty and remorse. What, Tony? Yeshua, the Mshiach, and King of the universe, sought first to do the will of his Father in heaven, not like Herod to do his own ability or his own will, to please, honor, and glorify his Father. Yeshua also came to bring people abundant life, which required him to lose his life and then be resurrected to return to heaven. Not like Herod, when he died, he wanted many people to die after him. But I will make practical differences between these two kings. And you see that from the top of the fortress. And it reminds Christians to follow Yeshua's ways rather than the world's way. Anyway, and then when you see the site from the top and you see Jerusalem, you see Bethlehem, it all makes sense. The Magi's where they traveled. The Bible, the book is with you. And if you happen to bring the book on a tour, you're going to see the site, read the book, feel the story, And not only the story, the emotions, the smells, the roads, the dust. And then we go from there to the shepherd's fields. So I done it.
Great. Can you show us a video so people can really know what you're talking about
Sure.
in the tours you're gonna do?
Yes.
Day tours.
Just give me a minute. I'm gonna pull the videos. Our virtual online tour for 10 days, 9 nights from Jesus' birth to his resurrection. Today is day number 2. We're gonna visit virtually Herodion National Park, the Shepherd Fields, and the Nativity Church. But first, we will have a very delicious, healthy breakfast at the hotel. Look at all the best Mediterranean food in Palestine, in Bethlehem, the olives, the hummus, all the salads, the orange juice, everything is so fresh because it's won't make you hungry, guys. Herod's favorite fortress. So why did Herod choose this fortress in this location in Bethlehem? Remember, in 40 BC, the Parthian Empire conquered Judea, and Herod fled from Jerusalem with 5,000 men, including his family, under cover in the mid of night. And while fleeing, his mother's chariot overturned and trapped her underneath the wheels of the chariot. And when she miraculously emerged and was alive, Herod declared his gratitude to the gods and decided to one day be buried at that very specific location. So the Herodian fortress was built between 23 and 20 BC. Herod the Great was born around 73 BC. Herod was the son of Antipater, who was from Edom, south of Bethlehem. Herod was made king of Palestine by the Romans in 40 before Christ. He managed to keep his throne despite the ever-changing political climate in Rome. He is the same Herod the Bible mentions who killed the children in Bethlehem. In 46 before Christ, Herod was appointed governor of Syria and Samaria by Caesar Augustus. But with the death of Caesar Augustus and the arrival of the new emperor Cassius at 42 BC, Herod quickly dismissed his loyalty to Caesar and won Cassius' favor.
The newly discovered even above the theater, you see a special room for probably for Herod himself, and the steps to go on top, they're newly also open to the public. Of course, the king would be carried all the way, and we're gonna go to the area of the tomb. Yeah, and then all the way up through the steps and be in the center of the palace, and from there we're gonna see the viewpoint of the whole area, and even we're gonna go underground where he will bring all the water in cisterns, in huge cisterns, and go back to the visitor center here. We can see all the city as well from the top.
After seeing the model, all the groups will... Is that enough, Tony?
That's more than enough. Thank you.
Welcome. So the idea of the book came with the videos. So we're gonna be displaying the videos each week aside. And this is a big view for what we are doing. So this is our life. This is our destiny. We run away from it, keeps following us even here, everywhere.
And guys, don't miss next week virtual tour, the exploring the Dome of the Rock complex.
So any questions, any suggestions, any encouragement? What do you think about this? And it's hard work. I get tired. I get frustrated. When you're writing a book, you pass through a lot of emotions and it's not easy. But writing a book clears your destiny. I don't know if this makes sense to you. When you write a book, you expose everything inside you to the world, and it releases your vocation and destiny in life. Nothing is easy. You work hard. This is what our dad told us, Tony Andre. You need to outsmart everyone. You need to work hard, your minorities, to survive, to have life, and hard workers. In the Middle East, we work hard. I'm in the States here, everyone do not want to work here, but we work hard, and there's a price when you work hard, there's a value. When you give your value, the world can be better. So what do you think? And we have 1 minute. Anyone like to give a few words to what me and Tony are doing?
I just praise God for you and the work you've done. This is a lifetime that comes into what you put on the printed page. So thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Pastor. You can put in chat, you can use your reaction. I wanted to be more interactive today because it's a real book club is a real thing. Writing is real. Writing is expressing yourself, expressing your emotions, and actually it's healing. So I encourage everyone in this room to write. Everyone have a book inside him. I don't want to preach, but write about what the Lord has done in your life. Everyone have a book. And how I'm gonna give you a tip. Any thought comes to your mind about the book, write it. Any thought, take a note. This is how it starts. Take another note. Then you build a skeleton. And after you build the skeleton, you put the flesh, the information. So anytime in night, in the morning, you have something come to your mind, just write it on your phone, take a note, or in a paper. And don't think about it. It will come gradually. And it will become to be a book. So everyone have a book and have experience. Good.
Looking forward to the book.
Yes, Georgie. Yes, Georgie. Thank you, Georgie.
Yeah, Rico and I are looking forward to the book.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate you all coming up today because this shows me who are the serious guys that want also to give, not only to receive. So that means a lot to me coming to the book club, and there'll be more book clubs to discuss more about as I flow. So hopefully, I just want to tell you this information. Hopefully, it will be published. Now we are in May and published by the end of the year. I'm sure before 2000, by the end of this year, the book will be published. So the first volume. So few months more, like maximum 6 months. But there's a lot of back and forth between my editor. So there's a lot of things to do. Good. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you soon all.
Thank you, Andre.
Thank you, Georgie. Love you, man.